everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Monday evening. And yeah, welcome to our first match preview show for the brand new season. Yes, it's finally here. Liverpool are less than 24 hours away. Well, it's less than what? 14 hours away from playing a game of football. Yes, the Reds do take on Manchester United in Thailand, in Bangkok. And of course, we'll be live tomorrow with a live watch along for you guys. I will be live from about 1:30 tomorrow afternoon anyway. Fingers crossed, and hopefully everything goes a-okay anyway. But tonight is the match preview show. We will be talking a little bit about all the news that we did see in the open training session earlier on. We'll also be talking as well about Jurgen Klopp and what he's had to say about Jude Bellingham, and as well we're speaking about Neco Williams, first part of the show anyway, as well, because of course we have news about that as well. But guys, please let me know your thoughts. Please let me know who you're most excited to see as well in the comment section down below. If you could as well, please like, share and subscribe. It does very much help out the channel and helps the algorithm out as well. But if anyone does want to join as well, before we do start as well, there is a link down below right now. I should have really pinned it so people can see it straight away. But yeah, if you guys want to come on, have your say, about Liverpool versus Manchester United, and just overall pre-season thoughts as well, because of course this is the start now of the pre-season tour for the Reds. Of course, we do move on, in a couple of days to play Crystal Palace in Asia, and then of course we go to the Austria camp then in the next couple of days as well. And of course, like I do say, if you do come on the channel, then please be respectful, and please be in a quiet place as well, where I can hear you properly, and with earphones as well, if anyone does want to come on. Anyway, but Gary's instinct, evening, Albine, how are you? Got the water in the freezer? No, it was in the freezer, and then I drank it all. So yeah, so I have like cold-ish water, I would say, at the minute, Gary. But yeah, hopefully having a fantastic day, Gary, as well. But let's get straight into it then for tonight. And as we'll talk a little bit about the Neco Williams news straight off the bat. Of course, Nottingham Forest now confirming, of course, welcome to Nottingham Forest, Neco Williams. Of course, the move to get announced, I think it was around, I think it was about 10 o'clock this morning. Both Liverpool and Forest announced it pretty much at the same time. Neco Williams as well also putting out a statement, thanking Liverpool for the I think 15-16 years he was at the club for. So again, I hope Neco Williams does well. Of course, big year for him, being a Welsh international, being of course, World Cup year as well. For me, I think 100% he gets in the start of both Nottingham Forest's team and the Welsh team anyway, whether that be right back or left back for Wales anyway. But I hope Neco Williams the best. Anyway, of course, we've already spoken in depth in previous videos, gone on about why it hasn't worked for Neco Williams at Liverpool. But again, for me, I think he's a talented player. Hopefully now he can kickstart his, career fully now, and go full speed ahead anyway. Fingers crossed anyway for Neco. Anyway, but hopefully, of course, for me personally, I think that, look, at the end of the day, £17 million with a 15%, sell-on clause as well. For me, I think that's a very, very good deal. And personally, I think, look, it's amazing, isn't it? The fact that we're able to get such a good deal for Neco Williams. And he hasn't really played much football apart from the last 6 months, of course, at Fulham. Anyway, but let me know, guys, your thoughts on the deal as a whole overall package. I think it's what, £17 million altogether, with 15% in add-ons as well. So I think Liverpool have had a pretty decent deal there, to be awfully honest with you. Of course, anyway, but yeah, of course, says, how are you in a hoodie and a cap, mate? It's like an oven in my room. It's an oven in here, to be fair, but I have the nice, cool fan, but to be fair, I'm not wearing a top underneath. I'm just wearing the hoodie. So I'm okay. But of course, it doesn't help the studio light as well. But yeah, it's again, the fan is a savior right now. I will say that for sure. Anyway, I literally just put on the hoodie and I was like, screw it, I'll just walk with it. But yeah, it is boiling everywhere, isn't it? I think, what was it, 30, 32 many places today. It's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, everyone please stay safe, because, apparently it's meant to be getting up to 40 degrees next week in the UK, which is ridiculous. And I will be definitely hiding in the shade. The game tomorrow will be fun. Good luck to Neco. He is a good young player. Yeah, Gary, I think, look, at another time, I think, look, Neco Williams will be starting games for Liverpool constantly. But when you have a scouser that comes in, and called Trent Alexander-Arnold, that's he's the best right back in the world at the minute. For me, I think it's obvious that Liverpool are definitely going to be looking to again have that replacement there, of course, with Calvin Ramsey. But of course, Neco Williams, he wants first team football. He's experienced that at Fulham now, and he wants it more often. And again, I think Nottingham Forest have a very, very good youngster in their ranks. Anyway, 70 million is an absolute rip them off. Says, yeah, of course. I think it's a good deal. I think, of course, I said yesterday that Liverpool, I think, have been better off of the deal. But again, I do think it is a very good deal for both Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, personally, anyway. But of course, I think, again, when you look on the market, there isn't many young, talented, right backs on the market at the minute for that price. So I think for me personally, I think it is a very, very good deal anyway. But we will move on then to some Liverpool news. And of course, guys, if you watched the training session earlier on, of course, I know a lot of you would have been panicking about Darwin Núñez, of course, the new boy. I know that a lot of people was watching, what he was doing, today and so on. I know plenty of people were worried about Darwin Núñez at the start. After the, of course, the open training session. But like I did say on Twitter, if you guys are not following us on Twitter, then please, make sure you head over and follow us on Twitter at the Cop Council. But like I did say to everyone, please stop worrying. Darwin Núñez isn't injured, just has a bad blister, and that's why he sat out the final training session. Now, it was confirmed that he did sit out because of two blisters, I think was said. Well, you can see the rubber toe if you go and watch. I think it's Redmond's video, because I think Redmond are out there at the minute in Thailand. If you go and watch it, I think the physio was like pulling the foot things off, and I think Paul thought that that he ripped off his toe. But again, nothing serious. Darwin Núñez has already posted something about playing tomorrow as well, so fingers crossed he will get a couple of minutes tomorrow. But as far as injury is concerned, Darwin Núñez isn't injured, and Thiago as well supposedly is not injured. Them two did sit out the final session in the open session tonight. This morning, I should say. So both of them not injured as far as we know. Anyway, but again, if there is any news, then we will, first of all talk and bring it to you guys anyway, because I know plenty of you guys will be, wondering, is he injured? Isn't he injured? And I know plenty of you earlier on was on Twitter going, is Núñez injured? What's happening with Darwin? But he is A-okay anyway. But Cedric Zinsing can't wait for the game. I can't wait as well, my friends. I can't wait to absolutely rip Manchester United a new one. Again, even before the season starts, and can't wait for United fans to be ripping out their hair anyway. But we'll move on then, and we'll talk a little bit about Manchester United. And guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about Manchester United. For me personally, looking at what's happened so far under Ten Hag at the present moment in time, for me personally, I think that it's been quite underwhelming at the moment for Manchester United, in terms of, again, the whole point about this and the whole point about Ten Hag coming in was, of course, him coming in, sorting out the squad, bringing the people that he wanted to bring in, and moving on from there. Now, if you look at Liverpool's first proper season under Jurgen Klopp, we managed to do that. We got rid of Deadwood. We brought in the likes of Sadio Mane. We brought in the likes of Gini Wijnaldum into the club. And for me, Manchester United have not done that yet. Of course, they've made their first signing with the new left back that they have. Of course, they're still trying to get Frankie de Jong from Barcelona. But again, the biggest cloud around Manchester United at the moment is, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course, Ronaldo won't feature tomorrow. He's not in the United training sessions as things stand. I think he's in Portugal at the minute, dealing with family issues, of course. But we all know that Ronaldo is trying to get a move out of Manchester United. The problem is, where does he go? There isn't anywhere at the moment. If you look at it, there is, 3 clubs, I would say personally, that could sign Cristiano Ronaldo if they wanted to, and that is Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and PSG. The problem is PSG are currently getting investigated by FFP over Kylian Mbappe and how they could do that. So they're not going to be making any big signings, as of yet. Bayern Munich don't want him. That's plain and simple to see. I think they're pretty much happy with their squads. Of course, they're going after the likes of Matthias de Ligt at the minute, which I think is a great signing. If Bayern Munich can get him over the line, and then you look at Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel, of course, could Chelsea get him? Yes, of course they could. But is Cristiano Ronaldo the answer for Manchester United? And for me, he is far from the answer for Chelsea at the moment. They've just got rid of Romelu Lukaku, who didn't work. And I think Cristiano Ronaldo would be the same at Chelsea. He doesn't work well with Thomas Tuchel's style of play. And again, he's just someone for me that just, we look around Europe, he's not. He's not what clubs want at the minute. They don't want to pay, £600,000 per week for a 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. It's ridiculous. At the end of the day, he's got more. It's more likely of him, joining someone like Sporting at the moment than it is a top European club. He wants to leave Manchester United because he wants to, continue his legacy, with himself in the Champions League and so on. But at the end of the day, you've signed a 2-year deal. It's your fault as well as the team's fault that you didn't get into the Champions League last season and how badly Manchester United performed. And both Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralph as well, Ragnick as well. But again, Cristiano Ronaldo is Cristiano Ronaldo. He'll make up his own crap. He'll have a tantrum. He'll perform and so on. And again, I just think it's a bit laughable, personally anyway, that Cristiano Ronaldo is trying to force a move as well. And I think, look, it is selfish of him at the minute. Again, what's 1 year? Because realistically, where is he going to go? There is nowhere he can go at the moment. I would say anyway. But let me know, guys, your thoughts as well on Manchester United. I think as well the Frankie de Jong situation with Manchester United, I think at the minute is laughable. Personally, I think it's very laughable. I think there has to come a stage where you just walk away from the deal. Personally, I would think that for them. But look, I'm over the moon that their misery is continuing, and long may it continue as well. And I think Manchester United at the minute are in what Liverpool was, 15 years ago, where the legacy of Manchester United is known. Of course, 10 plus years ago they were winning Premier Leagues, they're at the top of European football, and now they are just a dying breed at the minute of a club. And at the moment, that is what Liverpool was 15 years ago. Struggling. We had our heritage, we had our history, but again, we were pretty bad on the pitch, and that's exactly what Manchester United are at the minute. And again, Ten Hag will change that eventually, but if he doesn't get the backing, I think every United fan has said it, and if any United fans are in here, let me know. But for me, Ten Hag, again, he hasn't had the backing from the boards that what he would have wanted personally, I think. But again, I could be wrong with that, but I just think that, of course, there comes a time where you'll have to move away from the Frankie de Jong deal. And, for me, I think United, of course, they need a midfielder, most importantly. They need, an attacker. They need a right-sided winger if, of course, Rashford's going or whatever happening there. I think defender as well. I think they still need a centre-half. Personally, they need a lot more than that. But, looking at first summers, I think that's exactly what they need anyway. But let me know, guys, your thoughts in the comment section down below. But we'll move on then to some Liverpool news. Then, of course, we'll move away from Manchester United anyway, and we'll talk a little bit about what Jurgen Klopp had to say about this man. Of course, big old Jude Bellingham. Of course, has been on the topic of Liverpool's transfer. Pretty much Liverpool's transfer videos for the entirety of this summer. Anyway, and of course, as you can see on the right hand side, anyway, is what Jurgen Klopp has said about Jude Bellingham. Of course, we did bring this. Anyway, I said he's not on the market, so that's the first problem with that player. Well, that's the only problem with that player as well, which did leave a little bit of a go and get him type feeling. It's like if you think that's the only thing that's wrong with Jude Bellingham, then go and get him, Jurgen. Go and get him. But again, like he did say, he's not on the market this summer. I've seen plenty of Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, well, that's Jude Bellingham done for Liverpool then." And for me, I think that's ridiculous. I think, look, at the end of the day, Liverpool quite clearly want Jude Bellingham, and Jude Bellingham wants Liverpool. And I think, look, next year when he's available, I think it's plain to say Liverpool. He is Liverpool's #1 target, and Liverpool will go all out for him as well. And of course, Jurgen did also mention as well that Liverpool are he did mention the likes of Michael Edwards and Julian Ward as well earlier on, which I thought was marvelous as well. But he did go on to say that Julian Ward, that Michael Edwards is officially now gone out of the club. He has helped Julian Ward over the last couple of weeks. He did say before they came out to the Asia tour, but now he is officially gone from the club as well. But again, for me, I'm so impressed at what Julian Ward's done so far this summer. Of course, getting the Jurgen Klopp deal done, the Darwin Núñez deal, Mohamed Salah deal, Fabio Carvalho done and dusted, Luis Diaz back in January as well. And yeah, he's doing a fantastic job at the minute anyway. But we'll take a look then at what a few players has had to say on Twitter anyway. Of course, big old Virgil saying, "Bangkok, thanks for the amazing welcome. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow." Of course, again, big old Virgil looking impressive in pre-season so far, and it does look like that tomorrow. Anyway, I did kind of put starting 11 predictions in the comments. For me, guys, of course, pre-season's always horrible. You can't predict the starting 11. You never can. But looking at the training sessions, I think you're going to see a strong first half team for Liverpool, and then of course you'll see a complete weakened side then in the second half. But again, just seeing the likes of Virgil today, seeing the likes of Virgil, seeing the likes of Darwin Núñez, Carvalho as well, Fabio Carvalho, looking amazing in training today. On that left-hand side, though, which was surprising, he did play a bit in midfield as well. So I think that gives a little bit of inkling of what Jurgen Klopp's potentially thinking about Darwin Núñez, about Fabio Carvalho this summer, particularly. And for me, I can't wait to see what happens between them two this season. I think it just goes to show as well that I think that there's no pressure neither. There's no pressure on Darwin Núñez to, just instantly perform. I don't think there's any pressure on Fabio Carvalho neither as well. Both of them will come into the team, fully relaxed. I think as well, a player that, I don't think many people are mentioning, and I think I mentioned it a couple of days ago, Harvey Elliott as well. Klopp even talked about Harvey Elliott, and the reason why Liverpool didn't go after a midfielder was, of course, he said, plain simple, Harvey Elliott was Liverpool's best player in the first 4 games last season. And, we've practically got, a new midfielder in Harvey Elliott, which again would scream to me that, Jurgen Klopp fully has Harvey Elliott in his plans, to practically start the season. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Fabinho, Thiago, and Harvey Elliott was the starting midfield for Fulham, of course, in a month's time. Anyway, but let me know, guys, your thoughts in the chat down below. Anyway, Núñez makes the 4-3-3 more attractive and less predictable. Yeah, exactly. You can play left-sided, and that's the thing. When we could play Bobby in the false 9 and play Darwin Núñez on the left. He played there, sometimes for Benfica, and we've seen against the teams like Manchester United, last season where we would play, Jota on the left instead of Sadio Mane, and we play Bobby throughout the middle and so on. And that's where I think is the interesting thing. Personally, anyway, I think it's interesting how we have so many systems that could work for next season. As I'm getting tangled up in my wire, apologies. And it's interesting how many formulas Liverpool could have. Of course, we could end up playing 4-3-3 this season. We could end up playing 4-2-3-1. There is so many different variations that we could play as well, which again is very, very exciting. I might join, as is Anthony. Anthony, you can join if you want. I'll kick you out though if you're naughty. They all looked relaxed, Connor. Yeah, no, they do. I would say that 100% Gary is in. I know he has a foot problem, but Darwin Núñez was a bit lost in training, so he'll take more time. Yeah, again, he's trying to, figure out the language, isn't he? And so on. I remember, I think Robbo was telling Thiago to go and speak to Darwin because he looked absolutely lost, didn't he? But again, once the actual football is there and thereabouts, I think you'll have no problem getting used to everything. Look at Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz can even speak a word of English. In January now, I think he was speaking English too. I think it was Trent today. If you picked it up on the audio, I think he was speaking, pretty decent English with Trent. So again, it's usually, usually isn't it Luis Diaz, Trent, Curtis Jones, and Harvey Elliott. Yes, I think even Jurgen says that he doesn't know how they communicate with one another as well, which just goes to show anyway. But for me, guys, and I want to know your thoughts and opinions as well. Who are we most excited to see this pre-season? For me, it's a mixture between both. I think Fabio Carvalho and Darwin Núñez, personally. I think, look, both of them, I think is going to be very, very interesting to see, what happens this season. Again, whether or not we see Núñez on the left, we see Carvalho in a 3, if we see him, in a 4-2-3-1, there's plenty of options this season anyway. But we are joined. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know whether or not I want to bring him on. He's smirking. I can see he's smirking. You know what? I'm not going to let you join. You can just go away.
No, don't do that to me. Don't do that. Oi.
Why?
I've got this on because I've just been in a Tottenham stream, so I obviously had to bring in the Premier League champions flag, so that's why I've had that wrapped around me.
Well, it's something the Spurs has never ever done, so
No. And I didn't, and now I've realised it's actually quite comfortable, and I don't want to take it off.
You're not a. Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's going a little bit away about Liverpool, Manchester United, and tomorrow. But what's happening with your club at the minute? Because
literally nothing, which is the problem.
I've seen your tweets, and I'm like, well, what's Leicester doing? Like, you're going to be around 16th next season if you're not careful.
Honestly, the thing is, our starting 11 can compete with the top 6 in terms of like getting there. But if we get one injury, then we're looking like
you're buggered.
We're absolutely buggered. I mean, you've got some fans saying, "Oh well, if we can avoid injuries throughout the season," it's like that's not how football works. There will be players throughout the year who pick up an injury. Like you don't play an entire season without players getting an injury. So we are absolutely up shit creek, to put it nicely. But
well,
at least we're not Forest.
Well, to be fair, they've signed good players. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they've also lost their 2 best players from three best players from a title-winning, World Championship-winning campaign.
That is true. But to be fair, if you're looking, more at the top of the league, then, and you look at Manchester United, we mentioned it. Are you surprised how bad United have dealt with their? Well, I say business, but like just everything. From Frankie de Jong to the whole Ronaldo thing.
Can we just go back to something you said? Looking towards the top of the league. Then you followed it up by Manchester United.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. Like United are around 7th at the minute. So, like at least.
Let's rephrase this. Let's look towards.
Towards the mid-table then.
Thank you. No, not really. Like, are we meant to be surprised that United are a shambles in the transfer window?
Not really, but I thought they would have at least done something different than just make up the whole Ronaldo thing. Like, you're the club. You are in charge of him. At the end of the day, yeah, you can kick up a fuss and say that I don't want to play things. But at the end of the day, it's he's under contract. At least you'd expect, the club to go, no, you're joining the preseason. You're in our plans. We're not going to get rid of you. It's just stupid.
It's a difficult one because I don't want to say that he's got because the official statement is he's not gone on pre-season for family issues, and it's like it's very easy. And I'm not Ronaldo. As a player, I think Ronaldo is great, but everything that comes around him not so much. But it would be very easy to say, oh yeah, he's like intentionally not going on tour, trying to force through a transfer, but at the same time, we have no idea what's actually going on in his personal life. We could be saying that right now, and then something absolutely horrible going on behind the scenes. So it's one of those you've got to tread carefully with. So if there is family problems, like you never like to see that. But if he is using this as a way to get a move, I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's like the Thomas Partey situation. You don't want to comment on it because you're not fully aware and fully educated on what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's true. For God's sake, Zane said Anton Con Ten Hag has said Harry Maguire. Jesus Christ. Well, to be fair, he's still Manchester United captain, which I thought was pretty funny as well. But we'll move away then from the Manx and your thoughts about Liverpool and Darwin Núñez, because I'm interested to see your thoughts on it, because of course losing Sadio Mane for us was huge, I would say. But again, when we have, I think, what will be a different system now, no more false nine, straight out and out number 9. But then you can also have the option of the false 9 if we want to, with Jota and Firmino there as well. But how do you think Liverpool's, first of all, business has done this summer so far? And how do you think Liverpool will fare for the season ahead?
I do think you'll still come second to Man City, if I'm completely honest. But I think you've made some very good signings, and I think they're signings with not just next season in mind, which is why I say that. They're long-term signings. Like Calvin Ramsey, one of the top prospects coming out of Scotland. I think long-term he'll be a good signing. Carvalho, again, Carvalho's very similar to what Maddison was when we signed Maddison from Norwich, coming off an absolutely incredible season in the Championship, but now needs that next step up in the Premier League. I think long-term he'll be a very good signing for you guys. Darwin Núñez, he's the one that confuses me a little bit. I think he's a good player, and I think he's a very good player, but I don't understand him as a player, sort of thing. So I'd say understand him. I don't know enough about him to give a fair sort of thing. Yeah, I could say, yeah, he's absolutely shit, and I hope he flops and completely useless footballer.
Just be like every other toxic fan on Twitter.
That would just be me talking out my ass. I don't and likewise me saying, oh, he's going to be like the next Thierry Henry, outstanding player. I just don't know, because I don't know enough about him to be able to give a fair opinion on him.
Yeah, no, I think the best analogy was earlier on. I think someone said he's like a very young Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but can run properly, which was a bit weird when I seen it earlier on Twitter. But again, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool fare off, I would say, at the start of the season, with Bobby and Jota, because I don't think Núñez comes straight in, personally. I think he takes a while.
It's one of those, and I think it comes with any sort of bigger club. The money you've spent on him, there's he's going to be under so much scrutiny straight away because you have spent so much money on him. And that just comes with the sort of the level of signing and the size of club. But as soon as you sort of put those that much money onto a player, that it instantly does put the pressure on him. But at the same time, if he's at a club like Liverpool or any Premier League club, he's going to have to deal with that pressure.
Yeah, no, I would agree 100%. Yeah, it was Jason McAteer. I was reading it off Twitter earlier, and he did say he was like a Zlatan Ibrahimovic as well. But to be fair, I think the interesting thing is Liverpool, the last time Liverpool had a proper, good number 9 was, Fernando Torres way back when. Of course, we've had some howlers.
Suarez weren't half bad.
Yeah, but Suarez wasn't a number 9. He was everywhere, wasn't he? He wasn't just an out-and-out number 9. I think we've had some howlers. We've had Andy Carroll had Mario Balotelli, we've had Christian Benteke. It hasn't worked well for number 9s in Liverpool over the last couple of years. But again, this is the first proper number 9 at Liverpool for Jurgen Klopp. I would say, but of course, Jurgen Klopp does have very good history with, of course, out and out number 9s. I think everyone knows Robert Lewandowski and so on.
The thing is, I know you could say this for any a lot of players for Jurgen Klopp, but the way that Lewandowski developed when he joined Dortmund under Jurgen Klopp, like that would, if I was a Liverpool fan, that would excite me looking at Darwin Núñez, the way that he's developed strikers in the past. And you can go for like lots of players in lots of different positions, but like when you specifically look at the work of like how much Lewandowski improved at Dortmund, that would excite me.
It's one of the first times I think in any season where I think for the first time there's a little bit of shake-up at Liverpool. Of course, with Mane going, I think the last couple of seasons we've been like, right, 4-3-3 for the rest of the season. And we all hope that 4-2-3-1 is a thing, but I think this season it's more of a realistic prospect. I think because we've got the likes of Firmino, we've got the likes of Carvalho. Curtis Jones, I think, can play in the 10 as well. Harvey Elliott can play in the 10. And it adds another option for Liverpool. And I think in certain games, like I think Chelsea, away and at home, again, they'll try and park the bus this season. I hate Chelsea, the way they play football. They are the most boring team in the top half of the league, in my opinion. But
it's like, though, even like going back to the game against us at the King Power, it's like once we went 1-0 up, we were as comfortable. Like, I know you're Liverpool and you expect wave after wave of attack. Once we got everyone behind the ball, there wasn't a lot you guys could do about it, really. So I think the fact that if you're looking to change shapes within the game and have that option of either going 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, it gives opposition teams something else to think about. Because I know this is only basing it on one game, but like the Leicester game, which I think once Lookman scored the goal, we went 1-0 up. I think we had about 35 minutes left in that game. We just dropped into a 5 at the back, but played with 3 midfielders, and it was very much just one ball over the top that we were looking for. And that was causing so many problems. And I think that was just because you couldn't break through the lines there. I think if you do have the option of like changing the system and playing with an out-and-out 10, which a 4-2-3-1 would allow, I think that gives you a real possibility of like being more dangerous against low block teams, because I do think that has been for one thing that you have struggled against this year.
I think as well, I think if we had someone like Núñez in the Champions League final, I think that massively helps Liverpool. Of course, because if you were to say to me who was the better team in the Champions League final, I would have said Liverpool, because I think we outplayed Madrid at times. But again, they took that one opportunity. And again, that's what Liverpool haven't done. That's what we didn't do in the finals last year from open play. We didn't take the opportunities. And I think someone like Darwin Núñez, with him coming in as an out-and-out striker, I think that like those specific games as well. And I think as well, just like the draws that we've had, last season, the games at like Brentford, Brighton at home, Chelsea away when we were 2-0 up as well. I think games like that, I think having an out-and-out number 9, I think helps massively. It could come back to bite you, of course, but I think it does help you in those type of games where you need just that, that killer instinct. Similar to, we've had, Divock Origi over the last couple of years, come in amazingly, to help us. But again, sadly, we don't have that this season. Hopefully we'll have that, with the likes of Carvalho and potentially Bobby and Jota, but again, you need that someone that has that killer instinct for goal. I think looking at his shots per goal ratio, like it's ridiculous. I think he's in the top 60% in terms of shots, but in terms of goals per shots, I think he's in the top 95%, which is ridiculous.
I won't get too excited like that. Islam Slimani was about the same when he came from Sporting.
Slimani.
Like, genuinely, he had every stat under the sun going for him when he was coming from Sporting. That's why I take, when it's particularly not a top 5 league, I take all the stats with a pinch of salt. But yeah,
isn't Slimani meant to be joining Forest
from Sporting or the Portuguese league anymore because of Islam Slimani has scarred me.
Isn't he meant to be joining Forest?
Oh, don't say that. You know
I,
he
sw-
scored 2
I
goals all
swear
season
I
against
swear he
Leicester.
is. I thought it was reported in like Portuguese newspapers that he was joining Forest on a free deal.
Oh, you know what? He will score 2 goals all season, and it'll be at home and away against Leicester. That will literally be all he does.
Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, but guys, let us know your score prediction anyway for tomorrow. For me, I'm gonna go again. It doesn't really matter because it's preseason. The main topics for tomorrow is just plain and simple: get players fit and make sure nobody gets injured. That's the 2 major points for preseason. Anyway, but for me, I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool. It'd be nice to batter Man United in a different country. Anyway, aren't you going for any other? Are you going for any certain score prediction, or do you just don't care?
I'll be honest, I don't care. I didn't know till I saw your video, but you were playing United tomorrow.
Again, like it's weird now because I think we fly like halfway across Thailand, and then we play Crystal Palace in like 2 days' time after United. So it's like,
so you're leaving a bigger team till last.
Yeah, classic. God's sake, anyway. But guys, let us know your score prediction anyway, for Liverpool, Manchester United anyway. But again, I want to ask you about Leicester because, again, I've seen your comments, I think, a couple of days ago, and I think you lost to Notts County, I think it was, wasn't it? And again, I just don't get Brendan Rodgers' tactics.
The thing is, like, you can blame. We played Notts County, and admittedly, like, they're a non-league side, and we lost to them. But like, when you take a step back and actually look at the context of it, that's their 4th game of pre-season. That was our first game. It was the under-23s, but minus Harvey Barnes and Daka.
It doesn't matter. You still lost. It still says Notts County too.
But we also had 4 players on trial for us, but weren't actually on the books there. They were on trial playing that game. So when I say it was a weak team, like
it was a weak-ass team.
Weak team with half the players that weren't actually even Leicester players that were like on trial. We had Shane Flynn playing, who had a good game. Like, he's one of our academy lads who's like, there's a lot of hope around him. Irish academy lad. I think he's an Irish international as well, left back. So it's nice to see those kind of players, but it'll be when we start playing Sevilla, Derby County, Preston. Those are when those are our pre-season games where we'll start to see the players coming back, because Tielemans came back today. We'll get on to Tielemans in just a second because I've got a lot to say about that. Prayet came back today. Vardy, Maddison, all of like the main players came back today. So apart from Schmeichel, I think pretty much everyone's back now. So it'll be this game against Notts County. I'm not really sure why it happened, if I'm completely honest, because it happened before we had more than 4 players back, which just seems strange. But
we'll mention Tielemans then, because we're going to go off in about 5 minutes anyway. But what's happening there? Because like Arsenal got linked, then it was, I think, Spurs got linked, and now is he staying?
Oh, so Tielemans is basically being an absolute tosspot and can't make his mind up. Like, the thing is, I want him to stay because I think he's absolute quality. But it's like, if he's going to make his mind up, he either needs to sign a contract or go to one of the 2 clubs, because it's not helping anyone, him sort of not really sure what he's doing, if he's going to stay or if he's going to go. Because if he's going to stay, sign a contract, like, get your head down. If you're going to go now, settle into your new team, settle in pre-season, let us have the money. But him sort of like, oh, well, I've got time to make a decision. It's like, you're not helping anyone by doing this.
Do you think he'll stay up until deadline day, or do you think
if he goes on deadline day and he's had all summer to move, then he's an absolute? I think that ruins really sours everything he's done at Leicester.
I think it'd be interesting. Remember last year where like Liverpool getting quoted £8 million for Tielemans?
8 million.
The
thing is, though, we don't need to sell these players. It's like James Maddison. We've quoted, we've quoted Tottenham 120 million for him. It's like,
Jesus.
Do you know what I mean? You say Jesus, but it's like, if someone came in for Mo Salah for you, you're not going to just put like his market
600
value.
million, happy days.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to just put your best.
Well, no, it's like with Harry Maguire, isn't it? Like, Harry Maguire was never worth 90 odd million quid, but to you, he was worth that.
Yeah, it's like Chilwell as well. Absolute shite left back, but it's like we got 65 million for him. But the thing that I'm starting to get excited about is we are finally having concrete links to a player. Like, the standards are in the gutter at Leicester, by the way.
Sangara?
No, Koku from PSV, from Feyenoord, the Turkish midfielder,
Ah, right.
20-year-old.
Yeah.
He looks some fucking player, I can't lie. I'd rather him than Sangare. But obviously, if he goes to Brighton, which is the other link, he's bang average and never wanted it.
It's bang average, crap player, terrible player.
No, but in all seriousness, he does actually look a really good player. But it's like, we won't bring him in if Tielemans stays. And this is what I mean. If Tielemans ends up going later on in the window, there's a possibility that Sangare could have signed a new deal at PSV, which is looking more and more likely now because he was waiting and waiting and waiting for a Leicester approach. It hasn't happened because of Tielemans. And then Koku could well end up going to Brighton because he's saying that Leicester is his priority. But if we don't come into him right to the end, then because Tielemans, then this is what I mean. It's like, I love Tielemans, but this transfer window is really like leaving a sour taste of everything he's done.
That'd be interesting. I think that, again, I think you need at least 3 or 4 players in the door.
We need a centre back, a right winger, and midfielder. Anything beyond that is a bonus.
No, I would agree. I think if Leicester do get the players in, I think you'll be in that conversation with United, West Ham, potentially Newcastle as well.
I thought you were about to say Forest, then I was about to drop out this studio.
Forest. Get out. But to be fair, I think that the biggest thing I think for Leicester this season, guys, let us know as well in the chat down below. I think that, again, I think United are in those brackets as well. I think, again, you've got those brackets. I think Liverpool, City up there. I think Spurs and Chelsea are there along with Arsenal. Then I think United and so on are with the likes of, United, Leicester, Newcastle, and so on as well. To be fair, he did leave and then he came back as well. But guys, we are going to leave it there anyway for tonight. Anyway, Gary did say Liverpool will score more goals next season. I hope so. I think we scored, 116 last season in all competitions, which, again, brilliant last year's season. Hopefully we can win more as well. Maybe a quadruple next year. Who knows? I don't think football Twitter doesn't want it, but of course we want it. It's brilliant to see anyway. But Ant, thanks for coming on. Have you got anything coming up on your channel?
Well, I'm doing daily uploads in terms of transfer videos, which honestly with Leicester's probably the equivalent of watching grass grow or paint dry. So unless you're a Leicester fan, I probably wouldn't recommend it if I'm being completely honest. But I've got a home and away match day vlog starting again with Leicester. We're playing Matlock down the road in pre-season, so that'll always be a tasty. You know when they've got the local police force of Derbyshire and Leicestershire on call for a pre-season game, it's going to be fun.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But guys, if there is any mods in the chat anyway, please leave Ant's links in the chat. I will put it in afterwards. After the video anyway, please go over and subscribe over today. If you want a Leicester fan to wind up and have a laugh about, just wind this little motherfucker up. Anyway, for the season, and hopefully this year we batten the King Power. So then I can finally stop having this Luckman talk with you anyway. To be fair, where has Luckman gone? Has he gone for good?
We can't afford to buy him permanently. I love Luckman, but I'm Luckman's biggest fan. Until we've sold, the thing is, we can afford to buy him, but we need to get rid of squad players because of FFP. So as soon as
we get FFP, City and friggin' PSG have been avoiding that for years. Did you do nothing?
That's the thing. This is what I've always said. It's here to protect bigger clubs. Who's it going to hurt if we spend 12 million on Ademola Lookman?
Nottingham Forest.
Exactly. doing the Football League a favour.
Again, the day that they get, to be fair, they did get caught and nothing happened. So,
to be fair, we got done for FFP when we were in the Championship and we paid a £3 million fine. So I'd rather us just absolutely spunk money up the wall and then just pay a fine for it.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious anyway. But Mark did put the link in the chat. Thank you, Mark, for that as well. But yeah, I think, again, this season's going to be very, very interesting. I think it's going to be close. Like I did say, I think Liverpool and City will be gone again this season. I think Spurs and Chelsea, I think, are going to be fighting for third and fourth.
I've put second.
I don't say Spurs.
Spurs.
Nah,
No.
shut up. No, get out my freaking stream, boy. Spurs. Who do you think you're talking about? Freaking Spurs. They'll finish third comfortably. They won't finish second.
Ooh,
So what I said, Liverpool first, Spurs second.
Well, I think City will win it. I just haven't said which City.
Oh, shut up. This isn't 2016. For God's sake, let me get him out of here before I kill him. Anyway, but guys, we will be live tomorrow anyway at 1:30 tomorrow for, of course, the live watch along of Liverpool versus Manchester United. Hopefully, I'll see all you guys there tomorrow. Again, we've spoken about Darwin Núñez and a couple of other things as well. Of course, about Neco Williams, joining Forest as well. Anthony's probably screaming in the back room behind. Anyway, I will get him back on in a brief moment anyway after the stream. But guys, please stay safe, please stay well. Anyway, again, 1:30 tomorrow. There won't be no live late show tomorrow because I am on Statman Stubbs' show tomorrow. I think we're doing a Champions League quiz tomorrow over there, so we'll leave it in the community tab anyway. But guys, please stay safe, please stay well. I'll see you all tomorrow afternoon for the live watch along. But until then, I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you all then. Ta-ra.